Hey, what's going on, world? It's me again, Ethan Smith, Big Sarge, large and in charge of my one and only self. Taking myself up off the shelf to discover my greatest internal wealth so you can be the best for your external self. Waiting on Whiskey Charlie to join me, and we will see where he be. Killer Wolf will not be available tonight. He's taking care of some business with family. So there you have it. You just get me, Big Sarge, and we gonna see what it do as we talk about self-care. How is it important for me, and how is it important for you, or what is it that you like to do for self-care? And then Whiskey Charlie wanted to throw in there talking about qualifications, the qualifications it took for you to join the military, and should qualifications be required in the civilian world, in everyday life? And some of it does. For certain jobs and certain things that you do, you have to be qualified, and certain companies need to verify you before they actually hire you. So that's what we're going to do today. You know what it is? It is speak grunt, or as I like to say, grunt speak. But either way around, we come through, we speak to you, and we hope you drop down in the chat and you come speak to us too. Talk about some things that you have gone through, have growing through, are growing to be a better version of you. That's what we're going to do. Everybody welcome, but everybody cannot and will not be a member. 11B, 11 Charlie, 11 Alpha 2 for the officer crew. This message is for you and the people that support you and the family that loves and care about you. My 0311 Marine Corps infantry brothers, we salute you too. To the friends and the family of a soldier or a veteran or someone that's just went through, we salute you too. And we thank you for the support that you come through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step back. Not really, but I'm going to sit back and I'm going to be quiet for a quick second while I shoot Whiskey Charlie a message on my phone in the chat. See where he at. I be feeling like I have the music too loud sometimes. Oh, I got you in here. Is this? I know I shouldn't be making phone calls while I'm on a call, but hey, y'all, I want to see what.
I'm about to get on right now.
Man, you bought a bag of knuckle sandwiches. All right.
I'm getting on.
Yeah. Well, there's Whiskey Charlie. He's getting ready to join me, so I guess you won't just have to deal with me. You get me and Whiskey Charlie, and we gonna hope and pray that the internet guys are on our side today. While we waiting on that, let's talk about where you been at, how your week has been, what's your war, what's your win. You know what we do, 1 minute win, 1 minute war. Make sure you come through, talk about it too. What am I warring with today? What am I warring with today? Some of the words that people have to say, not specifically directed at me, some directed at me, and some directed at other people. But it's oftentimes in life I wonder if we think about what we say before we say what we feel. Does it hurt or does it heal? So I guess the war would be certain things that have been said to me, or maybe even about me, but the win, my victory, and what people may say, is let those off my shoulders and keep going and thank God for this wonderful day and understand that I continue to be blessed in every way. As long as I got life, I'm gonna keep on doing it till I get it right. Mr. Charlie,
Hey, what's good, Big Sarge?
what's going on with you, brother? How you?
All right, just sitting on the front porch relaxing before I have to be up at 3 o'clock to be at work by 4.
Yeah, I usually get up about 4 and get to work about 5:30. So I hear you. I got a few other things that I need to get done before I go call it night night. But it's gonna be all right. You know how that grunt life go. It prepares you for short hours of sleep or sleepless nights to keep doing what you got to do to keep right.
Yeah.
You say you had an off day
Yes,
today?
sir. But no. I went to work at. I was at work at 4:30 this morning and got off at 3.
Oh, okay. That's a good long 11-hour day. Got the CBD going your way, huh?
Oh no, it's just regular old puff bar thing, man. Ain't nothing like that. I would try that, but I'd be afraid I'd be going to sleep. It's a little puff bar thing. It's just a little tobacco type thing instead of smoking cigarettes. It's a flavored tobacco, so it doesn't smell like cigarettes or anything like that. You still get your nicotine fix
that people get from the smoke shop.
Exactly. But these are disposable. After you smoke them, you just toss them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mentioning the CBD makes me pretty sleepy too. That's definitely one thing it does to me. I get the CBD, I'm going night. Seriously.
I would guarantee I would go. I'd guarantee I would too. So yeah, I haven't messed around with that. But no, I heard whenever I came in, I heard you talk about your 1 minute win, 1 minute war. So I guess I would say my win right now, I would say is like getting, of course, if you follow me or if you anything like that, getting shit done. But my war is, of course, just slowing down and listening, because it's causing me doing my win is also causing a lot more heaviness on my war on not slowing down and actually getting shit right to 100%. I'm getting half-ass shit, so it's really causing me to slip behind more than it is help me to succeed. I got it.
That's a victory in itself. It's kind of like when I look at it from a coaching aspect of life, knowing what your superpowers are and knowing how it can work for you or how it can work against you if you're not mature enough in what you do and how you do. And it's like me, from a coaching aspect of life, I would be a high I, what they would consider a flight attendant. And it more deals with, and we're talking about behavioral traits when I talk about coaching, and it talks about my type of behavioral trait, which me and you share the same. Me and you share the same thing, which is very interesting. That was something I knew because I also did the flight assessment with you, and that's something we've never sat down and been able to go through. Maybe we'll make time for that too. But being a person with high energy and having a love for people and a connection with people, and it can cause you to be a little bit too emotional at times, but it also can cause us to also, as much as we can help people, it can be a hurt or a hindrance to us because we get so busy attempting to do everything. We sometimes don't do anything that's helping to really benefit us or grow us moving forward. And then we can also get distracted easily by shiny things. It's like the cat that see the little shiny light. You want to tag everything. You just want to jump around, move around. So you have a bunch of projects going, and they get done, but they just don't get done in a timely fashion because you have so many ideas and so many other things you want to see. So, but it's cool when you learn that and you understand that. What's great about that is you get to organize.
Yeah, because once you,
But that's all part of the topic I had for today.
I think one of the biggest things though is also learning how.
We must be on the delay. You go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is, of course, learning how to prioritize. of course, putting what is the most important first, and really sit down and, like you said, even before on the show, before is to sit down game planning things out. It's really okay. What's most priority, and even that with me at work, sit down and what is most important. And one of the things is for me is to slow down and listen, because most of the time if you slow down and listen, a lot of times things will fix themselves. Was it a protein shake?
No, I saw beets, carrots, ginger, and lime. I got a juicer the other day. And, self-care, talking about living life in a healthy way. I wanted to get a juicer, and I be on my TikTok and my Instagram sometimes. And I follow a lot of health conscious people, and they talk about the benefits of beets. I really don't. Well, I can eat beets. They don't bother me. And they talked about the benefits of drinking beet juice, carrot juice, and a ginger for intestines and gut health. And a lime, of course, helps with the alkaline. Yeah, helps with alkalinizing the body. I think I said that wrong, but earlier today I juiced for the first time a grapefruit, and that turned out pretty good. I cleaned a bunch of fresh vegetables today, and I didn't slow down long enough to juice any of them. So when you contacted me, I was coming back from my walk, and I figured, you know what, this would be a good time to kind of drop in some of these beets and carrots and see how they do for me. So that's what I'm drinking, just a little bit.
I'm sorry, I have a dog that got a new dog. It's only like 7 months old, but it likes to chew on everything. So, of course, my youngest daughter's brought out here some of her little action figures outside, and he got a hold of them. Now she's over here crying.
Hey, that's what dogs do. Now, did you pick up another stray, or you actually wouldn't purchase that one? I guess we got to wait and see from Whiskey Charlie if he picked up another stray or a dog wandered in his yard like they do, because he got an amazing view. Or did he actually go to the pet store and pick this one out with the family too? But today, what we want to talk about to you is self-care and the importance of self-care. And are you aware of how important you are to take care of yourself? Hey, there you go. Whiskey Charlie back. Hey, did you go purchase that dog, or did he just find a home in your yard?
Man, it was a free dog given from a family member, so a distant family member. So I got one too many dogs as it is, but
how many are you up to now?
I've got 5.
Woo! How many cats? Yep, that's where we at. We gonna go back and forth with Murphy Law today. He gonna be at Whiskey Charlie way. Too early to be yawning.
Yeah.
You underwater again, Whiskey Charlie?
Yeah, I said that I just disconnected myself from the Wi-Fi, so hopefully they help out. Yeah, I think too many people are on the Wi-Fi. All the girls have their little phones and gadgets and a wife, and then of course all the TV and shit like that. So everything requires that Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, you definitely sound better already in just that little sentence you was able to get out.
Yeah.
You gotta go on your data and use your data. So, for an hour a day, you gotta use the data. Or an hour on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The cost that you pay to take care of yourself today. Beet juice. Ooh. I hope it's a lot better inside than it is going down.
Yeah. I remember whenever we're deploying whatever else, having to really take in some of that stuff that you always thought was the nastiest taste shit, but it was the best things for you.
Oh,
that's what they always say. I don't remember. Of course, in the aftermath when you're sitting there shitting, farting in and smelling like fucking eggs, hard boiled eggs, and fucking protein shakes, and then a
Yeah,
mixture of that would fucking, you know, cause terrorists to give up any information she wanted them to.
absolutely freaking right. You are right about that, Whiskey Charlie. It'll have them give up anything you want them to. But like I was saying earlier, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk a little bit about self care and the importance of self care. And what brought me to that topic yesterday, my wife and I went to do float therapy. And float therapy is where you go lay in a pod of about 10 inches of water, strong Epsom salt water, and you really just lay there and float. They got some soft music playing, and you really just relaxing, collecting your thoughts. And it's nothing spectacular. It's something you probably could do in the pool or something like that too. But the Epsom salt and the oils and the aroma that they have going on, it's that thing that puts you in that real tranquil state. And at the end of that float, my skin felt a very different way. It felt very smooth. It helps with the aches and pains in some of your joints. It helps clears up some of your skin. So it's very interesting. That was my second time doing it. It was my wife's first time, and she enjoyed it as well. And it just made me think while I was actually laying in there doing my meditation phase, like, this is something that I need to do on the regular, maybe once a month, to have a pampering day to where I do my float therapy. Maybe I go somewhere and get a massage for me. Maybe I get a manicure and a pedicure too, because that's not stuff that I would normally do. And the reason that I say that, because with the job that I have, what I do, working and shipping and receiving and things like that, and packing and slanging boxes and touching these tapes and these chemicals all day and washing your hands so much. Ooh-wee, that one went down rough. Washing your hands so much, it makes your skin pretty rough. So just understanding, and as a man, we have to have a plan in place to take care of ourselves, and not only to take care of ourselves physically, but to take care of ourselves mentally. And if you follow me, as Whiskey Charlie said, you'll see on my TikTok or my Instagram, I'm usually reading a book, or I got a book by me. I'm mentioning a book, and I'm talking about spirituality, because that's also part of our self-care too, that a lot of times as men, we're not aware of. We're so used to just looking to be that protector, that provider, and be the priest like in our home, that we forget that we got to have it going on too. We have to be just as strong mentally as we are physically. And sometimes getting a good massage, unless you have your wife that massages you, sometimes going to float therapy where, you spend an hour of your day in a quiet space. Sometimes
Hey, Big Sarge, I wish you would.
well, maybe you gotta ask her. You have to give her a reason to. If they don't, we.
Hey, look, you just had to talk about, your massage and going to that thing. That's what helps, is you do it for you, to helps ease you and, to help you feel like you. I'm gonna let you know what makes me feel that way, and I'm not lying to you. Mowing grass.
That's what's up. That's a
I
form
love
of,
being I love being out a mower. I like to have my headset and listen to music. It is a relaxation to me.
and you know what? That's a form of self-care, as long as you're doing it. Because when I say self-care, I'm only talking about those things right now in the physical sense of something that we have physically done to our body. But that form of self-care, as I talked about reading books and doing other things, is a form of self-care for you mentally, because it allows you to go to a peaceful space. So that's a form of self-care too. You might not want to do a pedicure or a float or a massage or anything like that. Your body might enjoy a massage because of all the hard work you put in and the hours you do, and you up on your feet and you moving around, things of that nature. We don't know what we're missing if we've never done it. But if cutting the grass or working around a house brings you that peace and brings you that therapy, then to me, that's another form of self-care. And it's important as long as you're getting some in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I enjoy now. I enjoy doing, and one of the things I enjoy that I haven't done in many years, and I need to get. I've been talking about it. My wife said she need to get back into it, but I love fishing. Just
Yeah.
going out and sitting along the bank. I don't care if I don't catch anything at all, man. It's just relaxing to me. And then of course the spike of hype and energy whenever you do catch something. Yeah, it's you know, it's something that, you know, drives me like, hey, hell yeah, that. Or, you know, again, self-care. You're talking about, to me, it's a mental thing also, you know, a mental piece on that with self-care is, you know, hey, going shooting guns, man. I enjoy that shit. You know,
Absolutely.
when we used to go to the range, everybody was hyped about range day. Everybody, you know, you could talk all about what you like doing. Nobody liked fucking rucking. Nobody liked fucking, you know, doing, you know, push-up set and everything else. I mean, physical, there's some people that was really into that, but a lot of people, when you talked about going to the range and shooting, yeah, everybody hyped up. And that was one of the things that, to me, in the military, that helped take my mind away from everything. I was literally, it's just, all I could think of is me, the weapon, and the target from that point. Everything else was blank.
And I think why that's so peaceful may be the same as cutting grass for you, because it gives you an opportunity to escape from everything else that you're doing. When you're on the range and you're shooting, you're only focused on that one thing, and that's dropping those targets. You know, you understand the importance of being tuned in and locked in to what you actually doing at that time. And that is definitely a form of self-care. Like when I went to the float therapy, the first time I did float therapy back in June, like after Father's Day, I wasn't able to really relax because it was my first time doing it that way. Every little noise I heard, you know, I had the pod door closed and everything else. It didn't give me an opportunity to relax. I wouldn't allow myself to relax. But now the second time that I went, the time went by quick, but I was at so much peace and I was so relaxed, just laying there on my back, like what they call the mummy position, with my hands across my chest. And at first I said I wasn't going to do that, but I was so relaxed and I had closed the pod and everything. And it felt so good. And I was, you know, just relieved at the end of it all.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing though too, is like you're saying, you know, the first time you're always, it's like one of those things, those first times, you know, first time's always going to speak you, but you don't know what you're going to do until you go back the second time. That's also going to help you really release and just let you physically do what you need to do, and mentally, physically afterwards and everything else. Because I was the same way when I first went and got a massage. I was always against the shit. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't need a massage. And I was tense the whole time. The person that was massaging me was like, hey man, loosen up, just chill, like relax. And the whole fucking time still just fucking, nope, can't do this, because the first time always shocks you.
Because we won't allow ourselves to relax. We're not used to just putting ourselves in a state of peace, because as men, we always looking for what we have to do next. It's hard to quiet the mind. You know, I was doing some research in my coaching the other day on emotions for a program that I'm writing. Well, I just finished the outline for my coaching. And I was doing some research, and one of the TED Talks that I was listening to, the psychologist was talking about if you ask men the choice of sitting in a room all by themselves for an hour in silence, or getting small doses of electroshock, which one would you choose? And the over 50% chose getting the electroshock, because they just couldn't see sitting in the room by themselves for an hour in silence. And to me,
couldn't do it. I'm talking to the walls. I'm talking to a fan. My ass is going fucking nuts. I can't do it, man. I like, even when it comes to, like, we'll have meetings at work and everything else. Everybody else can sit down. I can't sit down. I got to stand. They're like, some of the other managers always would tell me, like, hey, that's rude, that's inappropriate. I'm like, look, I'm not like anybody else. I can't do it. I can't sit down for long periods of time. I've got to be up moving. I put in at work, I'm putting in 30 to 40,000 steps a day.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot. Kibby, what's going on, brother? We were talking about shooting. Whiskey Charlie was. Kibby said Ethan could never shoot. He just sunk his vehicle in mud pits. Hey, I am the first one to admit I didn't turn my gun sideways, but I definitely had to go a couple different times on qualifying day. I am not an expert shooter, but trust and believe I could get the job done when it needed to be. So, and always, Kibby, you counted on me. So, hey, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right?
Hey,
now I'm shooting arrows with my mouth that's always landing on the target because I'll be spitting knowledge. That's all. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, you're gonna drop that mic. Drop the mic, Big Sarge. Drop the mic. Walk away.
But in all seriousness though, after listening to that, I was like, it took me a while too, because I usually couldn't sit still by myself. But for me, I enjoy being by myself, laying in that pod for an hour in silence. And usually they're playing music, but this time the music didn't come on. So it was really just me and my thoughts. And as uncomfortable as that can be sometimes as men, I believe it's one of the best states that we can get to, because it really helps you to question you and get to know you and find out, what's purposeful for you, why you really here, why you do what you do. And I think starting with our mentality is one of the biggest parts of our self-care to help every other area in our life. You know what I'm saying? If we think about this, you talked about in our chat, we're talking about whether we're going to discuss self-care or we're going to discuss qualifications or being qualified, not qualified as upside down on the tree for the infantry. You know what I'm talking about. Sutton got that pole right there. You can go get qualified right there.
Yeah.
We were talking about being qualified. And if I'm not mistaken, if you think about it, say, for example, I won't talk out of turn, but it's probably special forces too, where you have to get qualified and you have to go through a series of mental tests and things that you have to go through to see if you mentally strong enough to do what you say you want to do. And even when I went and took the test for the police department a few times, and I've passed them both times. I didn't pass the psych eval one time. They thought I was a little crazy, but hey, they could have been right that day. Who knows? But I wasn't qualified at that time. And I understand why, because I remember him asking me a question about how did I like sitting in traffic? And I just really blew off the handle. Like, sitting in traffic? What you mean sitting in traffic? Don't nobody want to sit in traffic. Like, I had just came home from Iraq. I had been, hit with IEDs. I hadn't done self-care in that area of my life mentally to be able to free myself to get past what I had been through. So
yeah,
thinking about
Big Sarge.
Thinking about being qualified, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, like, hey, that's like one of the biggest reasons I brought up this talk. I had a cousin that reached out to me, and she's actually doing a debate in school, and she's doing a debate and thing on whether or not veterans should be allowed to, to protect children at school. And I told her I don't see any problem, but I would also require a lot of qualifications, a lot of mental things, because our mentality, come back from overseas, we react to so many different types of scenarios, and it's not just adults that we react to children and everything else. And I would have I told her I definitely would like to have somebody that is mentally that's there, and that's the same thing that whenever it comes to, I know, any type of serve and protect, you want to have somebody that you're going to be able to really trust to hold that wet behind. But again, and one of my biggest things also counters that is that I always remember when we were going overseas, we had a lot of battles that were just fresh people going overseas, and they're always like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I can't remember who exactly was telling me, but they're like, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're going to do when you get out there. First of all, first thing that's going to happen is when you get shot at, you're going to shit or piss yourself. That's what the fuck you're going to do. That's what there is nothing else that you don't know what the hell you're going to do. What the best thing to do, and just like you always taught us, is get down, get to cover. My thing is every situation that goes on in the world right now, in different states, different counties, different cities, everything else, situations wind up less than unfortunate for a lot of people out there. But I think it's also on the. I do believe it's also on the individual that took that action. Maybe they weren't doing the proper training, and maybe even that that judge or whatever else didn't have the same beliefs or whatever else. So you never know what situation you're going to end up in. I mean, depending on where you're at in the world these days.
And that is very true. Kibby says, I will verify that you flipped the bongo truck because he pulled in front of you. Yeah. Back then, 06, 07, Sarge was just a little young corporal. I wasn't young, but just an old corporal. And I definitely had a lot more anger issues at that stage in my life than I do now. I've definitely worked through a ton of those. And as you were saying, Whiskey Charlie, you know, at that time that I went to join the police department for the Austin Police Department, I wasn't mentally qualified to handle everything that might have came with that. And I don't think every veteran, just because they're a veteran, is qualified to be carrying a weapon inside of school, elementary school, middle school. Because there's some guys that I deployed with, I damn sure wouldn't want to have a weapon in my child.
Right? That's the same thing I'm thinking, dude. Like, it's like I all my brothers out there, brothers and sisters that served and done their part, everything else. But I also know just as well as anybody else, and we want to do is our together. Everybody.
Now, what it sound like? Did you get back on that Wi-Fi, Whiskey Charlie?
No. Sure.
All right, there you go. You back. You went underwater for a while. That's why I was making all those strange faces, because that's what it was sounding like.
But no, I was just. Go ahead.
Gibby says, sorry to change subjects. It's all good, brother. You all heard anything about the burn pit thing? First off, we is down here in Texas, and I know you in Alabama, but it's not you all, it's y'all. So y'all heard anything about the burn pit thing? You using that proper up north Michigan English right now. You all y'all. I didn't hear anything about the burn pit thing. I haven't heard anything. I have to look into it. It's probably some type of class action lawsuit about, you know, Joe's growing deformed ears or being in trouble in life later because of burn pits and shit like that. I don't put it past them, because there's a lot of things coming out now. If you're deployed that they suing about, first it was like the
3M earplug,
the M3 or whatever, and now I hear something.
3M.
Now I hear something about if you're a soldier in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune between certain years, like the water was contaminated. So, Kibby, you know, when we lived at in 06, we stayed out. It was a burn pit, a damn trash dump, a sewage drain canal, dead bodies. So it was like, I could just imagine what happens in 20 years for us, what we're going to be looking like possibly. But I haven't heard anything about it. It would be definitely something to look into and see, because that would definitely be a good topic. And again, self-care and self-preservation that is a beautiful view, man. You got to love that view. Is that a deer or a dog?
That's my dog. That's look. Ain't no deer or anything else come around this yard with 5 dogs, man. Shit, there's much less fucking squirrels anymore. I used to have a shit ton of squirrels, but they don't come around anymore.
Oh, wow. So you said it's cancer related. First Sergeant Harris said it was a thing. I definitely believe it was a thing, because those burn pits was just, they were horrible. We was putting any and everything inside those burn pits. I was watching the movie The Outpost again this morning, and it was just a scene where the Joes was out there burning the shit. And they was talking about, you know, this is cancer. This is going to kill us one day. And the one specialist came by, was like, hell, you worried about dying from cancer? We might not even make it to cancer out here when we live.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to, you know, I'm not sure whether the steps that we take now will combat the things that we did in our past, or the things that we were exposed to, the things that we had to do just being soldiers. But I'm damn sure that I'm doing research and looking into it to seeing what steps I can take to not allow cancer to be in my body, to not allow diabetes to be in my body, to not allow myself to be in that mental state where I was 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, like Jay-Z said, in that mental state where I'm not taking proper self-care to make sure I'm qualified to be a good leader, to be a good husband, to be a good father. Because if I don't take those steps, then I'm subject to, you know, my own self-destruction. That's why I have drunk the nasty beet juice and carrot juice with the ginger in it. It don't taste good going down, but my body probably ain't enjoying it in the nutrients more so than the hamburgers and the pizza that I slammed down my throat, even though that tastes amazing. Again, if I keep eating that for too long, I won't be able to care for the people that I say I care about because my health won't be in the best space.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, Big Sarge. Now, what do you drink? Hopefully water now, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is ice cold water in the Yeti cup. I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't really drink too much. Well, I take that back. Since I started back working with a physical job inside the warehouse and the shipping that I do right now, I definitely had me like a couple monsters. In the last 2 weeks, I didn't have easily a half a dozen monsters. And one time I had 2 in one day. I hadn't had 2 monsters in one day in years. So
hey, Big Sarge. Hey, this would probably come as a surprise to you, but I probably in the last month and a half, I've maybe had 10, if not less.
10? That's not bad in the last month.
Hey, yeah, I was up 2 to 3 a day.
Ooh,
up to 2 to 3 a day. Yeah,
I see.
That's stacked on top of coffee in the morning.
Oh, I'm afraid of that. I just feel like my heart might jump out my chest.
And I don't eat. And the crazy thing about it too, I would never eat anything. So I'd never eat anything. I'd drink a cup of coffee in the morning. For lunch, I'd have me an energy drink, or in between, I would have a drink. Then lunch, I'd have an energy drink, and then right before I get home, before I go to sleep, I'd have one almost.
Now, what type of self-care is that for you? Now,
hey, look, I cut back on them, and I've lost like 10 pounds just cutting back on energy drinks.
Nice. I tell people when I drink a Monster, though, it's definitely not for energy. I think it's more so the taste. It's more of a taste and acquired thing, and then for me, it's almost. It's a tribute paying homage to my buddy Stephen Ballant, who passed. God rest the dead. God bless the dead. And he was the guy that I really got into Monsters with back in 2006. He used to love those things when we was in Iraq. I remember going to the shopette so he can buy a case of them. He loved when we would get to go because we didn't stay at Biop. When we stayed over on Fab Rustamaya, and when we had the opportunity to go to the VBC, Victory Base Complex, Biop, Liberty, Striker, all those places, he knew that he could go in the main PX and get him a case of Monsters. And that was just his thing, drinking Monsters. So anytime I'm drinking a Monster, it's kind of almost a remembrance to him as well. So I get to enjoy it that way. And falsely, I'm like, oh, maybe it give me energy, which it really don't. The taste is just good. So
exactly. That's all. There you are. Hey, I forgot. Maybe it was Captain Small that was telling me that I was telling everybody that if it caught me with a monster that he would have everybody put for it. That's how much energy I get from him originally.
You broke up?
Right back.
Yeah, that was
too funny.
Hey, it's like being on the radio. This transmission is so broken from time to time.
Well, out in the country, out in the country, it comes in waves. The signal does, so it's like, hey, we're gonna get out here sometime soon.
Yeah,
it's not like you're in the city and the tower's right beside the house.
Drinking a Monster, drinking what we would call tiger piss back in Iraq, or the kabooms. Those things were so strong it didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Rip it.
Oh yeah. See, Rip It, I was drinking. They had Rip It in Michigan back before I even went to Iraq with Texas National Guard. They had them in Michigan and it was good. But yeah, those Rip It's would get you going. They definitely would get you going. So earlier, when I was doing a little bit of research and I was looking up self-care, and I specifically typed in self-care for men, and I came across this website, Spun Out. Spun Out was the website, and it talks about 8 self-care activities for men. And some of them are pretty basic, pretty self-explanatory, pretty common. And the first one started out with exercising, and it talks about how exercising can be a great way of practicing self-care, as it is time during, wait a minute, as it is time during which you can focus on yourself and your body. Now, I don't know about for other people. Exercise is definitely one of those things I think is great for self-care, and it's a simple thing that you can do with not too much equipment is needed. Push-ups, sit-ups, walking, stretching, jumping jacks, the old school basic training calisthenics. For me, when I do exercise, even though it kicks my butt sometimes, when you take breaks and you cycle on, cycle off, we know Killer Wolf don't know nothing about that because he work out all the time. But mentally, it sharpens you. And I would often tell my wife, I don't do physical exercise because I think I'm just this black Adonis and I got the body of, a god, even though I am a god created in his image. I do exercise because physically when I do it, I feel strong. It strengthens me mentally because the weights never seem to lose. You can lift weights all you want all day long. You can lift weights all you want all day long and you turn out to be okay. I mean, you'll be okay, but eventually you're going to have to put them down because they win. But where you win at mentally is the feeling that you get, the pump that you get, the adrenaline that's flowing through your body and the endorphins that's kicking in. So in that sense, when I think about exercise, it may not always feel good doing it, but it definitely feels great afterwards. Okay, I got you, brother. I'll never say nothing crazy anyway. I'm talking to Kibby with the comment that he made. I don't
Oh, hey, look. Kibby's wife must be drinking Basana, or she must be messaging for him right now. I think this is what her last Sunday, probably before I had to start getting ready back for school. If she's a teacher.
Yeah, probably. That's a Kibby. I don't know if you can see the comments, but Kibby said,
I can't.
He said, no, Dick. She's not commenting for him. But, so when I think about it, like exercise is important. If you think about it, when we was in the military, exercise is something that we had to do on a regular basis. Being physically strong made us mentally tougher to go through some of the things that we went through. Being physically strong made it easier for our bodies to recover when you have little injuries. You think about from athletes, they break their leg. You might be out the game for 6, 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. An athlete breaks his leg, they immediately put him in an air cast on the side of the field. They start giving them the proper nutrients and things like that. They start doing that self-care on him, or they start performing more care on him so he can heal a lot faster. Case in point, Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tore his ACL, I think. The tendon in the knee. Tore his ACL at the end of last season. They said he would be out all this season. He's already 7.5 months later, already back able to practice and everything else ready to go. Why? Because during his off time and his self-care and his exercise and his working out and his strengthening and his conditioning, when you're taking care of your body in the way that you're supposed to, it's easier for your body to recover that much faster.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that also, in the military, they always trained us and, always train mentally and physically. And that's one of the things that in life, if you're training mentally and physically every day, then you can live like you're saying, like mentally and physically. Mentally, of course, like you're saying, that self-care piece. And physically, you go out there and taking care of yourself and getting up and actually doing something. And just like, I was going to mention here a little earlier when you were talking about it, like every now and then I sit down and I'll play video games, but in between matches, I sit there, I do push-ups in between. Right? And what I do is I set myself a little goal. For every time I die, I do a push-up.
Nice.
I do a lot of fucking push-ups. I'm
about to say I'll be doing
I do. Hey, I suck at the game, but you know what? I just play it just to play it, and you go on and have some talking time with some of the coworkers and people that I've my brothers and them like that. But in between, I like to get down and for every death or whatever else, or until the game flips over into the next match, I'll do push-ups until it rotates. That's so I'm just not just stagnant, sitting there. Literally, okay, I need to challenge my body at this moment in time. So I'm not just sitting here you know, grown to be a fat ass or just lazy. So that's what I do in my in between time, even just playing games. Uh, Work wise, I mean, work, like I said earlier, man, I'm putting 30, 40,000 steps in. And if you get that calculated per step, I mean, I'm a little guy, so my steps count a little different than the tall people, but that's almost 12 miles a day at work that I put in.
Yeah, so that's good right there. People may not see it like that. That's another form of self-care. You could have a job where you sit at the desk all day, then you come home and sit all day, and that's not really helping you out. Kibby says, well, money, status, and purpose will favor someone. You and I are on our own to take care of ourselves. Facts. Everybody is pretty much on their own to take care of themselves, because at the end of the day, our life is our responsibility. The God, the universe, however you want to look at it, Buddha, Allah, the higher power, he's giving your life to you for you to do something with. And if you don't take control of that life, somebody else will take control of it for you, and they may not have, your best interests at heart. Sometimes we lose ourselves chasing money. Sometimes we lose ourselves chasing status. Sometimes people don't care about themselves because they're willing to sell themselves out for the money that they believe that they can obtain. But it's nothing like being able to obtain the money that you want, obtain the status that you deserve, and still have everything else intact, that you are fully healthy. Taking me to my next point with the eight self-care activities for men, discussing exercise. The next one talks about spending time with spending time with friends and family. It says spending time with people who make you feel good about yourself is also a form of self-care. It is important to be able to recognize the people who genuinely care about you and your well-being, and who show you kindness and love. Again, you become the company you keep. And a lot of times I think people forget that the company that we keep around us often is our family. They say you become the 5 people that's in your circle. And if your family is the first 5 in your circle and they're not supportive of you and what you're doing, if you're not supportive of them and what they're doing, then that might be detrimental to your self-care, because someone outside your family, their words may not have as much as effect on you as someone inside your family. So therefore, it is very important that you, being the patriarch, the leader of your family as a man, because again, I'm talking self-care for men, for my brothers, you being that individual, then you have to make sure you're comfortable enough with sharing with your family that they can pour into you what you need, because they care for you and they need you to be good mentally and physically, so you can continue to be there. I don't want to look up at 60 years old or 70 years old if you're a grandfather one day and you're not able to provide and spend time with them. I don't want to wait once my kids are gone and out the house, then I can't do anything with my wife anymore because I'm 55 and I'm all jacked up because I've been eating bad food and my joints hurt and I can't walk and I can't do any of those things. Like, no, I'm going to care for myself now at 45 to attempt to prolong this life for as long as I can. Now, I know at any given moment I could be up out of here, but before I get up out of here, I'm going to make sure I'm going to take care of what's mine while I'm here.
No, that's awesome stuff there, Big Sarge. I definitely could do. Definitely, I think one of the biggest things is first of all, acknowledging that fact. Acknowledging that you need to do better and everything else. The biggest thing is once you acknowledge, and then of course, again, plan your stuff. So I need to do better myself, of course, with eating habits, or if it's you don't have to shut everything down 100% away. Hey, it's a baby crawl step on a lot of bases. Maybe it's something that, I need to quit smoking. I need to quit drinking, this, that, and the other. Whatever that habit is that you want to cut back, man, you baby crawl to it, and you're going to walk into, and then you're going to walk, and then you're going to start running into it, and then you'll start feeling it as you steadily start progressing yourself in, as you kind of better yourself in. Once you start getting into it, it starts becoming a habit because you're starting to do it on a regular basis, and then you'll start feeling that, and then it's at peace. Then from that point, a lot of times it's a mentality piece. So as you do it over a period of time, you get used to doing that thing, or quit you doing that certain factor. But
Yeah, no,
What is-
you absolutely right. Kibby said, "Tell Whiskey Charlie the self fix is a connection." You know what? I can't. Yeah, you're right, Kibby. He got to fix it. One day we gonna get it right, but he's still here, so it's okay. But no,
yeah,
that is definitely a part of it, man. Acknowledging it. You know, you won't change it if you won't at least acknowledge it. And we're not able to acknowledge that there's an issue, then we don't think there's anything to change. Again, taking care of my father up until the day he passed, and watching everything that he went through physically, from the things that he put in his body or the way he did not take care of his body when he was younger, and dealing with, what they're saying, diabetes, dealing with gout and all these other flare-ups and arthritis, severe arthritis, and dealing with all these things from not really taking care of him. My father was an individual who went to the gym. I'm 45. At 45, he was still going to the gym, maybe even 50. He had a gym membership, not regular basis all the time, but it was something he did. But it's like, we work on the outside often, but we never work on the inside. We don't work here mentally on the inside, and we don't work here physically on the inside. We just keep throwing food down our throat or whatever we doing, and drinking certain drinks. And this is not no knock to anybody, because I do it as well from time to time. But it's like, once you learn better, you have to do better. And we don't have to give up everything. You just have to start doing things in moderation. I used to say I wouldn't go without eating meat, and I challenged myself to go 1 week without eating meat. And I'm talking past tense. This was in 2017, the longest time frame I have ever went without eating meat. I challenged myself to go 1 week. That 1 week turned into 4 months. It's amazing how the body changes, and the palate of your mouth changes and adapts to what you're putting into it. The body is an amazing tool, and you can conform that thing into what you want it to become. But you got to start up here will understand, okay, this is going to take some hard work. This is not going to be easy, but I can get it done if I just believe I can do it, because mentally I'm strong enough to know that the body can go through it. And that's what it's all about. You don't cut everything out. You just do it in moderation. Like you just said, you went from drinking maybe 2 dozen Monster a month or 20 to half. I only drunk 10. That's a big start. And then you get to a point where you're like, man, I'm only down to 5. I don't need that anymore. I'm drinking more water, and I'm doing more push-ups in between my walking and things like that. So it's all about, doing those small things for you. That's for your self-care. That's going to help you be better. You ain't got to drink beet carrot juice like Big Sarge. You don't got to go no meat like Big Sarge. You don't got to do any of that. You have to do what works for you and your care in order to make sure you get there, because it's self-aid, buddy aid, and then everything else. So if you can put
yeah.
the
Hey,
tourniquet on yourself, don't be screaming for me. Put the damn tourniquet on so I can keep engaging the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
hey, it's like you're saying. Hey, that's funny that you said it, because I was sitting there about to touch on that a little bit of that. But buddy aid. Sometimes it takes, and some family or friends or battles or us, as even here talking about it. Uh, talked about it earlier about slowing down and listening. Sometimes it just slow down and listen to somebody. They're not telling you to, quit or stop doing what you're doing. But, if you slow down and listen to some of the people, they're just giving you hints and tips on, hey, you may be getting a little heavier. Like in my drinking, like before, I used to start at, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and drink all fucking day until I passed out, and now I wait until, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have a few or whatever else, and try to, again, like you're saying, moderate it, slow it down to a certain point to where, of course, it started making my body feel better. And then it also made it a lot cheaper to drink at that point in time, because when you're only drinking 2 and 3 and going to bed, it ain't like as bad as, throwing down a 24 pack in a day and then wind up falling asleep at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. And I think for men, and then I'm gonna jump into this comment from Kibby. I think for men, it's, as we get older, most of us, we may drink less, and especially guys who've been deployed and been through some things. I think a lot of times Nobody wants to drink and just get drunk to feel like shit. That's not the point when you started out. It's not. I don't truly believe nobody set out with the mission. Now, you going out to party, have a good time. You might be like, I'm getting drunk tonight, but you ain't thinking to yourself, I'm ready to get so drunk that I'm gonna pass out, I'm gonna be throwing up, and I'm gonna feel like crap in the morning. Like, I don't know nobody that want to do that. And I think a lot of times,
wake up and piss and everything else.
yeah, I think a lot of times the reason we do that as men is because of the things that we've been through or the things we're attempting to mask to get through, because we haven't had care in that area. And I'm not saying this rolls into what Kibby kind of talked about. And I'm not saying that Kibby was drinking or an alcoholic or anything like that. But he talks about in his comment, he said, after Iraq, I saw a therapist. Best mental self-care I ever did. I did not do it soon enough, but when I did, I felt stupid I did not do it sooner. And I can 100% agree with that, because I remember going to our yellow ribbon ceremony back at home in Michigan after I had moved to Texas, I think, or was I still in Michigan? Either way around, I think I was moved to Texas. And I went to our yellow ribbon ceremony back at home in Michigan after our tour. And I remember the two old Vietnam vets having a conversation with us. And they was telling me I probably had PTSD, some forms of it. And I didn't want to accept it. And I was snapping and going off. And they was like, yep, see right there. I didn't want to do the therapy or anything else. But years later, when I done the therapy and I started talking about those things and I started getting those things out, it's like Kibby said, I felt stupid for not doing it sooner. But that all came back from the mindset or the concept of, you know, you going to therapy, you soft, you're not talking about your emotions. That ain't what men do. So, you know, I tried to everything and keeping it bottled up. But it's not healthy to do that. And especially when you have a family that care about you, it's not healthy to do that, because you're not going through it alone. They going through it with you. So there's nothing wrong with going to see a therapist at all. If you want to grow, why not get a coach to help you through the process? If you want to grow, you want to do something different, why not have an individual who looks at life a little different than you, or give you a different way to see it, to help you understand and break down some things? Why not allow them to help you by helping yourself and caring for yourself and stepping up there? Again, we go to the gym and work out to do physical therapy to look good. We play basketball, you take care of your car, all that stuff on the exterior looks amazing. But if you don't deal with the interior, the shit on the exterior don't mean nothing. It just crumbles anyway.
Yeah. That was a mic drop right there, Big Sarge. There's a mic drop on that one. Yeah. I was speechless on that. I couldn't even pick up the mic on that one to come back on you on that one.
And you know what? And I have to be honest, like earlier I was talking about my 1 minute win, 1 minute war, the way people talk, and, you know, things that was said that I didn't care for, having a conversation with my significant other earlier today. And as I can be an emotional person sometimes, getting in my feelings, I've learned to just take what I call a tactical pause. And the tactical pause for me is like performing, you know, SEAL. Stop, look, listen, smell. Stop, see what's going on. Let's look at this situation. Let's look at how they feel, how you feel. I ain't smelling nothing, but I'm seeing what's going on. I'm listening to everything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on my walk. And I was saying to myself, man, I don't know if I'm going to do the show today. I'm just not in it, kind of being in my feelings. And at the same time, I'm like, well, what about the other people who show up for the show? And I'm thinking, oh, that'd be all right. And going back and forth with myself. And I didn't even realize what time it was or the other things I had going on. So when you text me like, hey, yo, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, I am going to do the show. And as I'm sitting here doing the show and I'm talking, like, this is self-care for me. This is self-care for me, because if this is speak, grunt, and grunt speak, and you expecting other people to speak, you have to continue to speak truthfully too. Like, this is self-care for me, and the information that I'm giving for everybody else, I like to use it on myself. So I thank you for sending me the text. I thank Kibby for jumping on, because this is how we're going to continue growing and moving forward and get other people to come out and speak. as we say in our in the coaching world that I'm in, you have to be your own first client. If you're not your own first client and you're not doing the work on you to care for you, how do you think you're gonna help somebody else make it through? So man, I love being my own first client.
Yeah.
Kimmy say great. Seals, you can do that in everyday life. Absolutely. Stop, look, listen, smell. Hey, stop. Hold on. Look, what's going on? What do I see? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Listen, what do I hear? What is she saying? What that shit smell like? That ain't smell good. That smells sour. I don't know that. Like, just saying. This grunt speak grunt. If you spent 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 8 years, 6 months in the military, and you got all that training and all that knowledge and information to help you be a better person in life, why the hell would you not use it when we get out? It's ingrained in you. Like, we don't have to just use it physically to work. We can use it mentally to strengthen our mind, because you had to use a whole bunch of mental tools and mental gymnastics to get through some of the dumb shit that we had to do, doing hurry up and wait, walking for hours in the middle of the night just to be walking and sleep on rocks. Like, you had to do mental gymnastics. So you might as well use it in your everyday life. You qualified for it now. So, yeah, man, self-care. Let me jump back over here real quick, because it's getting quiet over there. My wife usually say, and my emotion like, oh, everybody quiet. I hope I ain't saying that. My wife usually say, when they quiet like that, you hitting them. They tuned in. So let me jump back over here real quick to the 8 self-care activities for men. It says practicing yoga and meditation. Practicing yoga and meditation. I was just telling somebody at work the other day, I need to get back into yoga, or get into yoga. I ain't gonna say back into, because I wasn't never on it officially, but I need to get into it because it focuses on stretching and breathing. And stretching and breathing is one of the most important things you can do during your working out. And that's another form of self-care, where you ain't got to be slanging the weights around, but you doing those mental gymnastics just to be able to do the stretching and breathing and get you back to a healthy space.
Yeah, I would say one of the things I've started doing, I guess, is on the way to work now, I listen to inspiration. You know, I listen to some of your stuff on Spotify. I get on some other things and just listen to inspirational things just to get myself into that hype mode and type of mentally thing. Because again, I'm on my way up 3 o'clock to be 4. You know, I got like 5 minutes to work. So now I listen to a lot of things that can get me mentally, you know, to that. Just in and take and that's what helps me a lot now. I think that's one of the things that also helps me prepare my drive to and from work. You know, to work is getting prepared for work, and then to home gets me. I listen to certain type. You know, I know we talked about music last week and stuff like that, but it kind of gets me into that mindset of, okay, what's about to happen and everything else, and it helps also ease me thinking too much and getting to too difficult of situations.
Absolutely, man. I do it too. When I'm walking, usually the first start of my walk is always something inspirational, either Bible, TD Jakes, Eric Thomas, my own Mr. Peen, David Goggins. Like, I'm always attempting to listen to something to set that mindset. And I often think about Eric Thomas' message that I heard. And he talks about, you know, when you coming in from work and you didn't had a long day and all that, like, before you go approach, you know, your wife and your family, like, listen to something inspirational that uplifts you. You know what I'm saying? Go when you get home, wash your face, clean yourself up, and get yourself in the right mindset to transition from one job or one space to another, because it's important to help you get through your day. And if we just keep running around and we're not doing those things, then it's like, how can we say we really care for ourselves? How can we say we really want the best for the people around us? As a leader, if you're not your own first client and you're not taking care of you, then you may not be helpful to anybody else. And it doesn't always, as Kibby talked about earlier, some people some people have money and status and and purpose will favor some others, but at the end of the day you got to take care of yourself. It's not always about your status, it's not always about what's in your bank account, it's not always about you figuring, oh, this is my purpose in life, this is what I need to do. Well, if you know that's what you need to do and you're not doing it by taking care of yourself to get there, then you are being a detriment to your health and the other individuals around you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're just slowing down the process. Because like you were saying earlier, you got to be physically, make it to that point that where you want to be. And if you ain't physically there, like physically, mentally, and everything else, if you ain't setting, mindset is not where it needs to be. Physically, you're not going to be able to get there. So mindset, you need to take that time and get that space, go and do that thing that eases your mind and eases what you want to do to get you to where you want to go. Because you need breaks, whether you think whether you like it or not. You go through work. I don't need to take a break, or I don't need this, that, and the other. You do take that lunch break. If work offers you break time, and take that to set back and just clear your mind, so you can go back in full energy and back at it. Because your body will let you know when you're tired, and if you ain't listening to your body, and then you ain't gonna get very far, man. So you literally got to take that time to yourself.
Tactical pause, man. Like back at work, we go on break at I feel like every 2 hours you get a 15-minute break. So you come in at 5 or 6, you have your first break at 8. We usually have like a little team meeting in the morning. Just our department at like 7:50. Had that meeting for like 10 minutes, and then you get a 15-minute break from 8 to 8:15. Then you get another break from 10 to 10:15. Then you going on lunch at 11:30, from like 11:30 to 12. And then you get another break from 2 to 2:15. And by 4 o'clock, 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock, you walking out the door. And in my first week and a half or so, I would go over to the table in like warehouse area where everybody kind of sit and hang out. Talk to some of the people that was there when I was there 5 years ago, catching up, just having a conversation. And sometimes I would be reading my book because I had a mission. I got books to finish while I'm here. And then I found myself, sitting there too long and not reading my books. And what really hit me one day, my wife was picking me up from work, and I had been inside all day, and I'm not really seeing any daylight. And when I went outside, it felt so bright. It felt like old school, what they would say, snow blindness. Like my eyes had hurt it because they hadn't been out in the natural light. So after that, I'm like, you know what? Every time I go on break, I go out the back door, out by the ship and receiving department, and I sit there on the picnic table. I read my book and things like that because I'm like, I have to take this break and break for me. Like, go outside, listen to the birds chirping, feel the fresh air. I don't care if it's 100 damn degrees outside. I done did a lot worse and a lot harder temperature. But to go outside and escape from this job that I'm doing, to stay focused on why I'm doing this job and why I'm here, then that's important to me. And just taking that little outside break in nature helps me to power through for the rest of my day. So, man, you're absolutely right. If you get a break, you got to take it. And don't, again, like I said, when I take a break, I break from the job, I break into a book, I break into, maybe I'll shoot a TikTok video, a reel, or something inspirational so I can continue on the mission that I set myself on.
Yep.
Kibby said in, see you guys later. Good night, good topic. Oh, wow, an hour has went by already. That's how you know when it's a good topic, when you don't even know time that flew by.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was just running my mouth the whole time. One of the two, I'll take it either way. Hey, with that being said, man, I'm going to be like Kibby and get ready to let you go and the people go, because you got to get up at 3. I got to get up at 4. And we know how that go. Even though we get up and do it, our bodies might not be ready to go through it. We just tell them, shut up and drive. Just keep going.
That's right, Big Sarge.
Hey, I hope this conversation has been a blessing to somebody today, to help y'all out in some way. I thank y'all for tuning in to Grunt Speak Grunt. When we come through, we speak to you, you speak to us too. Everybody welcome, but everybody cannot, will not be a member. 11B, 11 Charlie, 11 Alpha, 0311 Marine Corps Crew 2. Y'all know what to do. Take care of yourself. Because when you was in the military, self-aid was your first aid before you got the buddy aid. Self-awareness keeps you aware of the best things for yourself. And if you are interested in checking out these 8 self-care activities for men, go to spunout.ie, mental health / self-care for men. Maybe I'll drop the link in the chat and then it'll be easier and you can just go back to the chat and grab that because it's yeah. If you're interested, I dare you to check this out. And if that don't work for you, Google self-care for men or just self-care. And I'm sure it'll help you get there. That's it. That's all I got to say. Whiskey Charlie, you got something you want to leave with the people today?
Hey, you guys. Hey, look, I'm just gonna piggyback with that Big Sarge said there, man. Self care, you guys. Hey, make sure that you take care of yourself, and then you start taking care of everything else. From that point. So, take that time, take that break, work or anywhere else you do, man. Take that time. I mean, yeah, anybody and everybody can always work through it. I know I always do it too, but I'm gonna start taking that time and taking that time to myself and get myself mentally prepared for the next part of the day. So definitely take that time and take it slow and easy.
As they say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So now it's
That's
time
right.
for you to be ready. And then you know what I say, Whiskey Charlie, us being married men or anybody that's out there, you have a significant other. If you're doing things right, one day your kids gonna grow up and they're gonna get married and go live their own life. Well, if you want to start dating your wife right now or doing the things with your bride too, so you ain't all broken down when you get older and the kids didn't left you. I met a guy at my job, Antoine is his name. He's our UPS guy. He said to me, I'm the only 52-year-old grandpa I see at the pool with 6-pack abs still.
Damn.
Hey, noted. Those are goals right there. Thank you very much for taking care of yourself. So just because you're getting older in numbers don't mean you have to get older in the mind. Free and relax your mind, as Mr. P would say, man. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful Sunday. I will let y'all know whether we gonna talk to y'all next week or not, because I know me and Whiskey Charlie, we came up on our 9 episodes and then we like to take a break. I like to take a break to recalibrate for our own and personal self-care because doing these shows on Sundays can take a lot out of us. So after I talk with my counterpart, I'll drop down something in the group chat and let y'all know. But until then, y'all know the flow. Go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Jump on the Facebook Speak Grunt group. Make sure you subscribe and you can see all the wonderful things that we've been doing over the last 2 years. That's all I got to say. Peace.